is nice, very strong but nice. Pardon me. God, I feel nervous. I feel like I'm doing my first ever YouTube video all over again. Hi guys, it has been a very long time since I last did a video, and I feel like my recent videos, well, they're not recent, but I started the video with,
hey guys, I don't really upload anymore, but here I am.
And every time I have pledged to try and change it and expressed how much I love YouTube and I'm gonna get back into it, and I don't, and then it feels like I've just said a lie. But it's not a lie. I have been desperate to do videos. I think where I was out of the loop for so long with posting, I became uncomfortable with vlogging again or sitting in front of a camera and chatting and then putting it out there. Yeah, it's something I really want to get back into, so I thought I would use this isolation and quarantine as a good reason to sit down and vlog. So I decided today I would quite like to do a video on questions and misconceptions about bipolar disorder. Now, if you have watched my channel when I used to post, you will know that I have bipolar, and I'm sure I probably would have given an explanation as to what bipolar disorder is, but considering I'm basically new again to YouTube, I'll just say what it is. I'm not like a psychiatrist, so don't take anything I say as biblical. I'm not God, and I'm not the bipolar master. I'm very experienced with bipolar, but I'm not the master. Introducing myself, my name is Florrie, I am 23, and I have bipolar disorder. I feel like we just went to an AA meeting together. Okay, there is more to me than bipolar, like it doesn't define me, but just for the purpose of this video, hey, I have bipolar, and I'm going to tell you what bipolar is. So bipolar is a mood disorder kind of characterized by extreme mood disturbances, and these mood disturbances affect your mood, thoughts and behavior dramatically. So there are different types of bipolar. I personally have type 2 bipolar. Type 2 bipolar causes elevated moods which are known as hypomanic episodes or hypomania. This is where the individual can feel elated, very active, loads of energy, kind of like you can achieve anything. You're just the bee's fucking knees, man. For example, this is before I was medicated, by the way, but it was when bipolar was on the cards for me, in terms of the doctors had spoken about it to me a bit before. But at this point in my life, I am about 19, 20, and I'm at college, and I am in a hypomanic state as fuck. And I skipped one of my college lessons because I thought I need to go to the library and apply for some jobs. I need to do that. So I sit down at the computer and I think, now, what job can I do? I know. I will apply to be a dog groomer. I will be the best dog groomer you've ever seen in your whole fucking life. I will basically become a dog. I will be that much of a good dog groomer. I will know the ins and outs of dog grooming because I will be a dog myself. I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna be the best dog groomer. Like, all these dogs are gonna come out with bows. I know how to cut dogs' hair. Like, I did not know anything about dog grooming whatsoever. And then I thought, okay, I've put that application in. What else can I apply for? I know. I will apply to be a mechanic for the Navy. I will go and live on a submarine and I will deal with the mechanics of the submarine. If that submarine breaks down, I'm the girl, I'm gonna fix it. And I applied for that job. And I genuinely, wholeheartedly, 100% believed I could be a mechanic for the Navy. I thought I could go to this job interview and I would 100% get the job. I have no experience in mechanics. I drive a car, I know the make of the car, and I know it's blue, and I know I need to use the green pump at the petrol station. That is as far as my mechanical skills go. Obviously I didn't hear back from either of them because this hypomanic state is just, everything is like rapid fire. Everything is literally like brrr. Your conversations are so all over the place and so fast with everybody because you think everybody else must be feeling as excited as I am, so I just have to tell everybody everything all at once. Everything's gonna be amazing. That's what it's like. It's just extreme excitability. So I deal with that, and there is also with that extreme depression, which, if you think how high the hypomania goes, the extreme depression goes as low as that. You just exist. You don't want to be alive. You just don't care about anything. I can't even explain it to you. It is like the depths of hell, like depression. Like I can't put it into words. So that is my type 2 bipolar. Now, the first question or kind of misconception mixture that I have written in my planning book is this. Is there a cure for bipolar? How long will it take you to get better? There is no cure for bipolar. It is a chronic illness, which means it is lifelong. You are born with it, you kind of die with it. That's black and white, we need to go with it. However, medication is one of the ways to help manage your bipolar disorder and help you lead a more normal life. And it will not cure your bipolar, and it won't eradicate your bipolar. It will just kind of make it have a nap time, maybe. So I will take medication for the rest of my life. It might not be the medication I'm on now, but I believe I will take medication for the rest of my life. Apart from, there is kind of like grey areas when you're going through pregnancy and stuff like that as to whether you should or shouldn't take medication, but I'm not pregnant right now and I'm not going to be pregnant anytime soon, so we don't need to talk about it right now. How I make sure I am falling in line with taking my medication, because being consistent with taking your medication is a big thing you need to kind of keep on top of. So my stepmom actually bought me these. This is like a tube with 7 different pots in, and they've got Monday to Sunday written on them. Let me show you one. For example, there is a sunshine part and a moon part, which obviously is for the daytime and the nighttime. So here are my little friends in here. Also works as a musical instrument, which obviously you've got to think of the silver linings in every situation. I take this little guy in the morning, which is sertraline, and I take these 3 in the evening, and these are my quetiapine. So this is my life. If we take these, everything's gonna be just fine. So you've also got to make sure you don't run out. So you've got to keep on top of your prescriptions and make sure you're going to the doctors when you need to get that repeat, so that you don't get to the end of your pill packets and think, shit, what are we going to do here? This is something I made earlier. So sertraline, what is sertraline used for? Treat depression and or anxiety disorders, PTSD, panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder. So it kind of helps with a load of different bits and bobs. For me personally, it is a bit of OCD, anxiety, depression, you know, just a little cocktail. The quetiapine, now this one sounds a bit more scary. Quetiapine belongs to a group of medicines called antipsychotics. Quetiapine can be used to treat several illnesses such as bipolar depression, bipolar mania, and schizophrenia. So this is a very serious medication. This is like, you don't fuck around with this. You don't fuck around with any medication, but this, the sertraline I got prescribed from the doctor, but quetiapine is a big dog drug. It's not the dogs. I mean, it's a big dog, like D-A-W-G, dog, big dog medication. it's an antipsychotic, which is very, very serious medication. It's very strong, very powerful, and you can only get it from people who specialise in kind of that area of mental illness, like my bipolar consultant that I go and see. He prescribed me that, and he told my doctors that I need it, so therefore my doctors can write me repeat prescriptions. So that's how my medication works. Not saying these are the best bipolar medications to be on. It's different for everybody, but for me personally, this is what works. And as I say, I might not be on them for the rest of my life. It could chop and change, but at the moment I'm doing just fine. Another way you can help manage your bipolar is by recognizing triggers and symptoms. So you have, with bipolar, you will experience highs, lows, and a bit in between, which is your kind of level playing field. So you'll spend a bit of time up here, a bit of time down here, but sometimes just be like that. It's good to recognize triggers. So for me, there are certain individuals in my family that if I speak to, I will just go downhill. It's just all to do with my relationships with some people are not as strong as they are with others, so I need to be careful who I speak to, because there are some people that have a dramatic impact on my emotions due to my childhood. We don't need to get into that right now. It's also good to recognize symptoms, so maybe I could be getting a bit more excitable, being a bit more like, let's do this, let's do that, oh my god, let's make big plans, let's book this holiday, let's book this traveling, oh my god, let's put a deposit down on a house. It's just massive impulses and just bits and bobs like that. Triggers and symptoms are different for everybody, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that little part because it's not black and white. The third way you can help manage your bipolar is through psychological treatment. So that could be like cognitive behavioral therapy, you know, just talking therapies. But I think a lot of people, when they think about psychological treatment, perceive it to just be sat in kind of a setting where it's one-on-one, you're talking about why I feel this way, what makes me feel this way, how I can deal with it. Therapy it can be a very positive experience for a lot of people, but therapy doesn't need to be the be-all and end-all in terms of psychological treatment. There are lots of other avenues you can go down. For example, I perceive psychological treatment also to be kind of writing in a diary, drawing, colouring, painting, reading, whether you're reading about your disorder or you're reading poetry or you're reading fiction. So yeah, it doesn't always have to be sitting with a therapist and having a counselling session. Another way to help manage with your bipolar, which is very, very important, is to look at your lifestyle. How are you living your life, and how are the ways you're choosing to live going to affect your bipolar disorder? For example, drug abuse. I know when people party, it could be substance abuses like cocaine or something like that, which never really is a good idea anyway, is it, to be honest? But for people with bipolar disorder, you've got to think, how on earth is this going to affect my moods, which are kind of unstable enough as it is anyway? Am I going to want to put this foreign substance in my body, which makes anybody's body go wow? So if you're putting this foreign substance in a bipolar person's body, it's going to go oh, like it's just going to go absolutely bonkers, which is never a good plan. I think you also need to look at alcohol and how much alcohol you drink. So I don't take drugs, but I do drink alcohol. I need to be mature and sensible and adult in my drinking patterns and make sure I'm not kind of excessively drinking all the time. Make sure I know my limits, make sure I know when to stop. They advise you shouldn't really drink at all, but we are all human beings at the end of the day also, and I'm not saying human beings need alcohol. They don't, obviously. Digging myself a hole. If you get what I'm trying to say, thank God. If not, I'm sorry. You also need to look at what you're eating, making sure you're eating regularly, making sure you're eating a healthy, balanced diet, and making sure you are getting a good solid 8 hours sleep, making sure you've got a good sleep pattern, because just as recommended, okay? So that is how you can deal with your bipolar more effectively. This is something I have been asked quite a few times. Are you crazy without your medication? Do you like attack people when you don't have your medication? What would happen if you stopped taking your medication? Would you hit me? I think people believe that if someone with bipolar stops taking their mood stabilizers, they are gonna become some form of murderous member of the Walking Dead, supernatural, rabid, crazy beast. And like, to be honest, that is true. It's so true. I'm joking. It's not true. It's not true at all. Just because I stopped taking my medication doesn't mean I'm gonna be violent and just savage your face. And I think a lot of people do think people with bipolar are just these violent monsters. That is the perception I personally feel is put on them, and that comes from my experiences with what people have said to me. So if I stop taking my medication, I think you just have to look at it as a symptom will be withdrawals. What I take is a very strong medication, so it is really not advised at all to just stop taking this medication. I would get the shakes, I would get severe headaches, I would feel sick, like it would be a complete mess. I have read in places before it's not uncommon for people with bipolar to kind of suddenly stop taking their medication, because it does kind of almost trick you at points into this false mindset that, oh, maybe I am actually fine. Like I haven't had like a drop or like a spike in my moods being elated in a really long time, so maybe actually I don't have bipolar, so maybe I don't even need this medication. And you stop taking it because you think, I'm fine, I'm cured, and you're not, because the medication does not get rid of your bipolar, it just helps to manage it. It's not going to make me just lose my mind and go on a wild rampage. Whether I take my medication or don't take my medication, I will have bipolar. So if I stop taking my medication, my bipolar is still going to be there, but it's going to be in full effect, and I will have these spikes up and these dramatic drops down. I will probably act different towards people depending on that mood. Personally, I will not attack you. Question 4, or misconception number 4. Bipolar disorder is a mindset. You can stop yourself feeling the way you do. I've not only heard people say this about bipolar, but I've heard people say it about kind of other mental health issues such as depression or anxiety or OCD. People think it's a habit that you can just break. Do you know what I mean? Like a shopping addiction. Just don't add that to your basket. Just don't go on ASOS. Just don't click check out. I personally think it's a very offensive and closed-minded thing to say, is that you can kind of snap out of a mindset that is to do with mental health. I think it kind of almost makes you feel like your disorder isn't real and people don't believe in it. If I wake up one day with my bipolar disorder and think, I just do not see a way out of this, I do not see the point in me being alive, I just want out and I'm ready to get out, I'm at peace with being out. When I have been in that place like more than once, and it is terrifying. Like, suicidal thoughts are just horrendous, and it is not something that you can sit there and think, I think I might kill myself, and then think, actually no, don't worry about it, like just be happy and that feeling's gonna go away and then I'm fixed. It doesn't work like that. You know, bipolar disorder is a disorder of the brain. Like we said earlier, it's a chronic illness. You are born with it, you will die with it. You cannot just alter your mindset and make it disappear. As close as you're going to get to that is being kind of consistent with how you live your life in terms of taking your medication, monitoring drug and alcohol intake, eating, sleeping regularly. Like, that's the only way that you're going to be able to alter a mindset. But it's not as black and white as I think a lot of people see mental health issues. Particularly with depression, I think people think that you can just snap out of it, you can force yourself to come out of it. And whilst I think that trying to think positively about things is going to help you kind of boost yourself up out of that ditch, it's not going to immediately fill that ditch in and push you out of it. It's a gradual process. I don't know if anything I'm saying is making sense. So this next one, which I think we're on number 4 now, I kind of spoke with my stepmom about this and got her point of view on it. So this question is, are you aware of your own state of mind when you're experiencing the extreme highs and extreme lows? Personally, for me, the lows are a lot easier to kind of recognize and realize that I'm in. However, the highs, it's very different for me, and particularly when I wasn't medicated, I lived life in fast forward and just didn't kind of see a problem with it because I was having the best time of my fucking life because I thought I could achieve everything and anything. And with these extreme highs, everything for me personally is heightened, so sounds, smells, and especially colours. Like, I could see everything more vividly. Like, the grass was insane, the trees were incredible, the flowers were just literally perfect. So my stepmom's view of me when I was in this state in particular, and she has said that I was kind of in a permanent state of restlessness. It wasn't that I was happy as such, I was just in a rapid, constant, unsettled phase. I was fixed on finding something and achieving something that was gonna cure everything for me, but it was kind of like searching for something that didn't exist, but I was still going to search for it. I was just completely out of control. And again, I would have these kind of extreme fast-paced conversations where I would jump from one subject to the other and expect everyone else to follow it, and I would just not even let anyone talk. It would just be like word vomit, but the word vomit was just neon colours, and I thought whatever I threw up on with my words was gonna like grow into some form of massive money wish granting tree. Just because you're in an episode of mania doesn't mean that you're just super happy, and I think that's a misconception also with bipolar, is that mania is happiness. You live in a fake reality. That's why it's hard to kind of comprehend you're in that headspace. So the final one, not question number 10, question number 5, or misconception number 5, is how can you live a normal life, and does your medication make you normal? I think a lot of the kind of questions and misconceptions I've spoke about in this video, you can kind of link them all together in some ways, and some answers may kind of re-answer other questions. How can you live a normal life? I think we've already answered that. It's to do with like consistency with lifestyle and understanding that part of a normal life is to have highs and lows. So my medication at the moment has me in probably the most stable position I've been in my whole life. That's not to say that I don't have highs and lows. People with bipolar are still human beings. We are going to have low days, and that might not necessarily be attributed to our bipolar. It might not be because of our bipolar. Things like being in quarantine or being made furlough from your job is going to knock you back into maybe more of a depressive state because you have no control over your life. When we're in quarantine, we have so many restrictions about what we can and cannot do, and we just have no structure. Normal day-to-day things that make anybody upset is going to make me upset too. Kind of normal day-to-day highs and lows are very, very, very polar different to extreme manic days and extreme depressive days. What I'm trying to say is we're normal people, so we are still going to get highs and lows because everybody gets highs and lows. That is just how life goes, doesn't it? That was kind of probably the worst way to have answered that question, so we haven't ended this video very well. Anyway, thank you for sitting and watching this video, even if you just watched 30 seconds of it because you accidentally clicked on it and thought I don't want to watch this, or even if you watched it to the end, thank you for just watching. As I say in all of my videos, you are worth all the happiness in the world, and it's so important to tell yourself, especially in the kind of situation we're all in now with this kind of COVID-19. It's terrifying, so just make sure you're supporting each other and being lovely to each other. There's no reason to be horrible to each other in a time like this. Nobody needs that kind of negativity. Just support each other and build each other up. We are all in the same community here. Tell the people you love they're worth all the happiness in the world. Tell a stranger they're worth all the happiness in the world. Just spread anything good that you can right now. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it made some form of sense. I will see you in my next video, whenever that may be. Bye.